Hello, good people. I thought I'd talk to you about four people who did some work on a house for me. Three out of those four were people who had a bit of problem with drinking. And by the way, they were even good drinking as not drinking. Now, they did calm it down over time. But one of the people, I know you have these people in your life who do things for you. For example, Tony. Tony was a driveway mechanic. He had a job at a mechanic shop, where auto shop, but he let that little drinking get in the way, and they let him go. And then Tony ended up having an issue with a gentleman, and they got into a little tete-a-tete, and he had ended up spending a little time in jail. So when he got out, his dad introduced him to being a mechanic, sent him to classes, showed him the codes and how to update himself constantly. So he was always aware of the new things that happened to not only domestic cars but foreign cars. So you could go by Tony's house. He had a little ramp in the driveway. That's why I call him a driveway mechanic. And he could change your oil and top off all of your fluids. All you had to do was bring the oil and bring the filter, and he had all the other top offs for you. And then you'd ask him, Tony, how much? And he said, well, just give me a donation. Who ever heard of such a thing? So you end up giving him more than usual because, he's a good guy. Tony, unfortunately, passed away from COVID. He just would not wear the mask. He would not go in if he was ill. He was one of those hard workers, and people would drive by his house and wait to get work done on their cars. But Tony didn't adhere to some of the protective things he should have done with dealing with a lot of people in the public. And he passed on. And then there was Corette. Loved Corette. He was so interesting. Corette was a carpenter. And he could do all kinds of things. He could build a house from scratch. He put a back porch on one of my relatives' home. She wanted to take the back portion and turn it into a dressing room and closet. Corette built the outline of it. He drew it out, showed it to her, built it on the back of her house on the second floor. Awesome guy. He had one other person to help him do that. He designed he had he kind of like a Michelangelo. He designed a ceiling where you actually have to be trained to have these kind of designs in your home today. But Corette said that he was going to work until he died. And that actually did happen. He pulled up at a customer's house. He was going to do a new bathroom for her, and I think patch some area on her roof. And Corette pulled in a driveway and died in the driveway, had a heart attack and died in the driveway. He was 66 years old. And then there was Noonie. Noonie liked to drink. He did manage to calm it down a bit because he had a severe case of asthma. He was in and out of the hospital. Noonie was 5'11" and 145 pounds. He was thin. But he would be in the driveway with one of those mason jars, talking about he was drinking Kool-Aid. He'd come in your house. I bought a little house, and he put he was an electrician. He put the electrical stuff throughout the entire house. And he would come back and say, well, let's put some lighting over here, over there. We'd go to Home Depot. Home Depot was almost my second home for a while. But all three of them, buy the equipment at Home Depot. They come to the house, do the work, and charge you, a minimal amount for labor. They enjoy their craft. And you ever notice the people who really enjoy what they're doing and they're like artists doing it, they have no problem coming by your house. Hey, you want to put some lighting over here, over there? That was Noonie. Well, Noonie had a seizure and an asthma attack with combination of COVID, and he passed on. Well, three of my good guys, the electrician, the carpenter, the mechanic, And then there was Mr. Henderson. Mr. Henderson was 90 years old. He wanted to stay active. He was a plumber by trade. But of course, he retired. He had his own little spot. Um, and once he retired, he said he was too bored and he would take little odd jobs like mine. He put in a toilet. We went to Home Depot. We also went to a place called Architectural Antiques or something where he could pick up items like toilets and plumbing and buy them at a discount. And then he would go to Home Depot and get the pipes and the things that he needed to put the toilets in. He put in 2 toilets. Got one of them a Kohler from one of those places. And he came to the house. He put all the copper in. He hooked up the bathroom, upstairs and downstairs. And he went in the kitchen. He hooked up the kitchen. So once all this was done, it took him about a week. 90 years old. And I said, okay, Mr. Henderson, how much do I owe you? That man said, well, you teachers, they didn't pay you much to teach our children. That's how he used to say. And I'm going to charge you $200. The man put plumbing throughout the house and charged me $200. I said, Mr. Henderson, I can't do that. I gave him a little extra. He didn't want to take it. But by the way, Mr. Henderson had took a liking to my aunt. He said, you think I could call that little girl? I said, sure, you can call her. Now, Mr. Henderson was 90. My aunt was 82. That's a little girl, but I guess 8 years difference made him keep calling her a young thing. It's the interesting life is with Mr. Henderson, of course, passed on. But he didn't. When he passed on, I think he was 98 when he stopped doing the odd jobs, and just kind of wore him down, I believe. But good guys, it's interesting that you don't have. Well, I'm sure they're out there. I just don't know where they were. Those were my 4 guys. I had an electrical person, a plumbing person, a mechanic, and a carpenter. Speaking of carpenters, Corette could do something I've never heard of anybody doing. A lady couldn't get her couch in the house, so he cut the couch in half. He told her if it doesn't work and she doesn't like it, he'll pay for the couch. He cut this couch in half, took out a piece of it, put the couch in the basement, bought some lumber, and he was also a reupholsterer. His father taught him to do that. And put that couch back together, reupholstered it, put the wood together. You would never have known that he cut that bad boy in half and made it smaller and gave it the ability to bring it into the house. Because a lot of these sofas now are too wide for the doors. Boy, Corette was an awesome guy. I love it when you call his house, he'll say, this is Corette, and I'm a great man. Motivate yourself, people. Anyway, like and subscribe so I can continue to tell these good stories. Have a great day now. Bye.